Democratic Civil War, and here's where Kamala comes in. This is the first time I've shared this publicly, only with my Clarity group, unrecorded if I said anything, but I'm going to say a couple of things about this. You know, Kamala Harris is deciding whether she's going to run for governor or not. And I know a lot of you have, I got the go-ahead to actually say this. That's why I held back for a while, and I hadn't said anything but to my Clarity group. But I know a lot of you have been hoping, like myself, that she would not run for governor. But it came to my attention a couple of months back, and with some careful advice, I was very careful how I worded it and said it so it wouldn't put people on public blast, but I just got kind of a head nod to share something important with you. It's come to my attention that one of the concerns and why she would even consider going for governor is because of the Democratic Civil War that's happening right now. And it's been happening. You've seen it more publicly in the last 6-7 months between AOC and Pelosi, between Hakeem Jeffries and Jasmine Crockett. Both of them trying to get head of the oversight committee, but they're protecting the oversight committee big time because they don't want people getting into certain circles. First of all, it's hate in general because they don't like them shining. But then they're getting into bigger circles, and they're also protecting some things over there in the oversight committee. Now, let's bring that back towards Kamala for a minute. But before I do, let's mention Mamdani, another example. Somebody who worked inside city government and who they don't like. Now, they try to say socialist, communist, blah, 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 which they don't know the difference between socialism and communism, whatever, you know. But what it is that he's not on the inside. He's not one of the chosen head nods. And because of that, there's this pecking order that happens within the Democratic Party. I'm going somewhere with this. Listen to the end. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you in so many words is this. Back during the election, Kamala wasn't everybody's first choice. It wasn't mine, but it wasn't everybody in the Democratic Party's first choice. Now, she's run, and she only had 108 days to pull this off, and we know that's some bull. You expect black women to fly in a white man's running world, you know? And basically, she did as best as she could. Many of us think the math ain't mathing. We did not get hit back during the Kamala. I worked on the Kamala Harris campaign with the engagement crew. It was thousands of us. But the whole idea was that many of us hit back saying, man, these numbers don't seem right. And we didn't hear back, or we heard very strange returns. And what I'm trying to tell you is that one of the reasons she might run for governor, which I hope she doesn't, I hope she just go for president and say, you know, to hell with it, and I'm just going to do this, is because of what has taken place with relationship to her pursuing, I got to say this carefully, pursuing the mathing situation. Hopefully y'all reading in between that, because I don't want to get flagged. But the mathing was a concern not only for us, but for her. But the people around that who wouldn't pursue the mathing, it wasn't. Now, why? There could be a variety of reasons. Don't ask. Only in my Clarity group do I even talk about it, and that's when the recording's off. But it's pretty ugly. What I'm trying to really say to you is in the middle of this civil war is that she may not want the headache of dealing with the traditional Democratic BS. Because what she has to go through is not only up against the right, it's the inner fighting in the left from people who are trying to hold their positions, their power, and their money. The same people who fear Mamdani, fear Jasmine Crockett and AOC. That's one of the reasons, and now you know. I've been talking for some time now about the problems with the left. Notice, we already know what's up with the right, but the left, whether it be the alarmist left or whether it be the insider games, hopefully you might have just heard the story about the Democrats. I'll talk about that in another video, who were calling out. There's a lot of local Democrats running who are talking about where's this money at, because the Democratic Party has raised 10 times the money over the last 7 months than they ever have off of Trump and Elon's name. And that's why I'm telling people, don't give money to them. Give money to local Democrats running states, running parishes and counties and cities. Those are the ones who need it. The wards, you need to support them, as well as support places like indivisible.org and AOC locally, because Indivisible and ACLU, those two nationally are great, but even locally, they got local organizations you could support with. What I'm saying is that Democratic Party nationally sucks butt, and I didn't mean butt. And it may be one of the reasons we lose Kamala running for governor. Hopefully, she doesn't do that. Many of us who are working the campaign, this is the first time I'm telling you this, but many of us who worked the campaign in 2024 are sending out messages and videos everywhere we can saying, please, trying to get, as a group, messages to her saying, hey, don't do that. We really are. We are fighting. So I'm saying to all of you, hang tight, but understand the dynamics that are happening. Hopefully this is a moot point and she runs for president. And she says, no, I'm not going for governor. I pray. But if she does, you'll understand the conditions, or at least begin to understand the conditions of why that happened. I hope that's some clarity. Forgive me for the time. I only explain it in my clarity group. You know where to go to the clarity group. But the point is, and if you don't, the description and homepage, there it is. But I'm just trying to get y'all to understand. We're in the middle of a shitstorm. There's 3 different storms happening. There's civil war within MAGA. There's civil war within the Dems. There's civil war within the judicial branch between the lower and upper courts. But we're watching it. We're getting through it. It's got to get worse before it gets better, people. Hang in there.